Now may I ask you a question? Have you been neglecting your knockers? Forgetting your flaps? Or not polishing your knob as you should? Well, if so, I'm going to show you how to sort out your brass right now. You know what they say, if you don't have shiny brass, then you don't have lots of class. Okay, no one says that, but I think it's probably true, and I've been neglecting my front door for far too long while I'm busy polishing everyone else's. So right now, I'm going to show you how to polish the brass on your front door at home. So I have literally never polished my brass door knocker, and that's because when I moved in it was already in such a state of verdigris that I knew it was going to take some serious elbow grease. So the first thing I'm going to do is break all the rules. Normally if I saw someone heading to the brass with fairy liquid or Dawn soap as you have in the States and hot water and a fairly soft scouring pad, now normally you would never ever use a scouring pad or soapy liquid on brass. The reason that I'm using it today is because this is in such a bad state and it's so dirty that I actually need to scrape off the dirt to get to the brass. So I'm not actually cleaning the brass itself, I'm just removing the exterior layer of dirt that's on top. Obviously, if in the castle we saw a young footman taking a sponge like this to the brass, we'd have him horsewhipped. But this is just going to take that top layer of dirt off.
When I was a lad, I served a term as office boy to an attorney's firm.
So I'm just going to clean it off with some fresh clean water. Okay, so now I'm just going to dry it off with some paper towel. Okay, so what you should be able to see now is that there's been no polish applied, but it's now clean. If your front door looks more like this letterbox, which is just a normal patina and only needs polishing, then there's absolutely no reason to use washing up liquid to clean it. You can go straight to this next step. The next thing to do is mask the area around the door knocker, because what you'll find is that if you use Brasso or any other metal polish and you get some on the wood, it will actually mark the wood quite badly. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do these parts second, the parts which are attached to the door, but I'm going to start with the knocker itself. I'll make a hole in the middle of the paper, pass the knocker through it. Then I have some low tack masking tape, which is always a good idea to have it on you. So now it's the fun bit. This is the transformational bit. So I'm going to use my favourite, which is Brasso. There's many brands, but this is probably the oldest and, in my opinion, the best. Give it a really good shake first, and then on any old bit of cotton, this is just a bit of old shirt. I don't like to buy cloths if I can just reuse. You don't want masses of it, just enough for a good amount on the cloth like that, and then just start applying. You need to work plenty of the polish onto the brass. There are no shortcuts here, just elbow grease. As you can see, the more you work it in, the more you'll see the true beauty of the brass beneath. If you've got a detail like I have on this, where the edge is cut in a sort of detailed pattern, use the edge of the cloth, try and fold it into an edge and push it in, or alternatively you can use a cotton bud if it's a really detailed pattern. Just so I can better show you the technique, what I've done here, I've taken this 2p from 1971 and I'm just going to polish half of it with some of the Brasso. Now what you'll see is there's two ways that the polish works. One is that you can actually work it in to physically clean the metal. And doing that involves using the liquid polish can be quite liberal with it and really working it in like that. Really showing off our beautiful late queen's face there. Now, the second part of using Brasso is how we get that nice mirror shine. Now, what we do for that is we apply the polish and we let it dry. Now, when it's fully dried, it goes to what's almost like a powdery kind of finish. Then, with our dry cloth, we just wipe away that powder. And that's where we suddenly get this really high gloss. So the same polish you can use to do two things. You use it wet to remove the tarnish, you let it dry, and then you rub it with a dry cloth and it suddenly becomes like a rubbing compound and gives you a really high finish. They're pretty clever guys at Brasso. I won't pretend to know how it works. So now, if I show you the other side of the coin, you will see there's an absolutely huge difference between the two. And that is what we're going to do with our door furniture. There's no denying this is a long process. But what you'll find is it's incredibly rewarding and actually I would go as far as to say relaxing. When you start to see that shine coming through, it's a really cathartic feeling and then it all just starts to come together and you think, yes, I'm really glad I've done this. I must say, I think I'm polishing this up like the perfect model of a modern Major General. That moment when you can see your face in it, that is when you know you've got it beat and you're going to win at the polishing game. Even if I do say so myself, I think that is starting to look pretty good. Polishing brass, if you do it once a week or even once a month, it takes a very short amount of time, probably 10-15 minutes maximum. But because this hasn't been done in, who knows, decades, the corrosion on it is incredibly thick. So I've been working at this for about an hour now and it's starting to look pretty good. To be perfect it'd probably take another hour, but I'll be honest with you, I'm running out of time here because I've got to go and pick up my children from school. So I'm going to finish it off now with a little dry wipe and show you what you can achieve from about an hour's work. Here we go, the shine on the actual cloth's very good. This has not been touched, so this is quite good because it kind of shows you a before and after. That's what it was looking like. As you can see, it's more than just dirty, it's really thick grime, so the difference is pretty lovely. It's not quite perfect, but it's a million times better than it was. Now it's probably going to take me a similar amount of time to wash my hands, so if you don't want your hands covered in black, put some gloves on before you start. As far as I know, it's not harmful, but it is unsightly. So that's how it's done. It's all about elbow grease, it's all about keep working hard and hard as you can, and eventually you'll get a nice finish. Well, I hope that was helpful. Please let me know how you get on.